We'll take you live now to Ottawa, where Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland is making an announcement alongside other Liberal cabinet ministers.
The GST on the construction of new apartment buildings so we can build more rental housing faster.
Today, I am announcing a further ambitious step in our government's plan to make housing more affordable for Canadians. Starting today, I am increasing the annual limit for Canada mortgage bonds from $40 billion to $60 billion. Builders need access to low-cost financing. And to ensure builders have access to the financing they need to build more homes faster, we are unlocking up to an additional $20 billion from Canada mortgage bonds and directing this money to multi-unit rental projects. This financing will make it easier for builders to access financing for construction projects like apartment buildings, student housing, and seniors' residences. There is no fiscal impact for the Government of Canada as a result of this measure. This is fiscally responsible policy using the policy tools at our disposal. And this is a further measure in our broader and continuing campaign to build more homes for Canadians faster. This new measure alone, announced and implemented today, will help to build up to 30,000 additional rental units every single year. And with the removal of the GST on new rental housing, we are expecting even more demand for this financing as we work to deliver more of the rental housing that Canadians urgently need. Our plan is already having a concrete, specific impact. Just yesterday, a Toronto-based company said they are now going to build 5,000 new rental units across the country that were otherwise on hold. And with provinces including Ontario, Newfoundland and Labrador, and most recently Nova Scotia, following our lead by eliminating provincial taxes on new rentals, we will together get even more new rental housing built in Canada. Il s'agit de mesures concrètes pour construire.
These are concrete measures to build more housing faster. We will continue to work hard to build a Canada where there is affordable housing, stable prices, as well as great careers for Canadians from coast to coast. Thank you for your support. Now, I will hand over the floor to my colleague, Sean Fraser. Mr. Fraser. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity to provide additional comments.
If we're going to address the national housing crisis that Canada is living through, it's not enough for us to simply address one project at a time. We need to change the way that homes that get built in Canada, including the financial equation that builders need to overcome. One of the obstacles that home builders are facing, and talk to them, they'll tell you what their challenges are. There's an increased cost of supplies and materials. The cost of labor has gone up. Access to land has become a challenge given the price in cities. And of course, as a result of global inflation, the rate of interest has gone up as well. I actually began my day early this morning on a construction site with a developer in the city who's benefiting from the Rental Construction Financing Initiative, who is building an awesome project next to transit on the LRT line, 30% affordable units for families, the rest market-based in the city close to services. What they told me during my visit was the number one thing that they can use help with is access to financing at a rate that allows projects to go ahead. Right now, there are hundreds of thousands of units in this country that have been approved, that have a builder who wants to build, that actually has a workforce to build them if the financing can work. But as a result of those increased costs I've discussed, a lot of those projects that were previously going to go ahead have been put on the shelf. The good news is we can change the equation. There's things that we can do. Removing the GST on the construction of new apartments is an extraordinary example of how federal policy can actually change that equation for home builders. It's wonderful to see the same news that Minister Freeland referred to, with a home builder announcing 5,000 new homes are going to be constructed as a result of this single federal policy change. But I've seen other similar stories. Within days of that announcement, we had developers announce 3,000 units would go ahead. We had others announce that 1,000 units would go ahead. Yesterday, 5,000 units. This is happening right across the country as a result of the policy change. And others still are announcing projects that were going to be condominiums are now going to be constructed for rent, so more people can access them at a price they can afford, given the incentives that we put in place. There's more we can do to help change that equation. And today's changes to the Canada Mortgage Bond Program are going to make it more appealing for builders who have projects that are marginal, that have been yellow lighted, that now can be greenlit, that now can go ahead. The way that this program works is that we take the risk out of the equation for lenders. By stepping up our securitization, we can provide insurance, so there's not as much risk on the financial institutions who lend the money, which allows them to lend at a lower rate, knowing that they're going to recoup something on the investments that they're making in projects. When lenders pass on a favorable rate to builders.
We've been listening to federal officials in Ottawa, including Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, announcing changes to the Canada Mortgage Bond Program, increasing the limit from the Canada Mortgage Bonds from $40 to $60 million. This is going to ensure builders have access to financing, and hopefully it's going to help build about 30,000 rental units every year.